Hello everybody, my name is Amna الخطيب. I'm going to explain the dream poem by John Donne. Let's start and read the poem. Dear love, for nothing less than thee would I have broke this happy dream. It was a theme for reason much too strong for fantasy. Therefore thou wokest me wisely, yet my dream thou brokest not, but continuously it. Thou art so true that thoughts of thee suffice to make dreams truths and fables histories. Enter these arms, for since thou thought's it best not to dream all my dream, let's act the rest. As lightning or a trape's light, thine eyes and not thy noise walked me, yet I thought thee, for thou lovest truth, an angel at first sight. But when I saw thou sawest my heart, and knowest my thoughts beyond an angel's art. When thou knowest what I dreamt, when thou knowest when excess of joy would woke me, and comest then. I must confess it couldn't choose but be profane to think thee anything but thee. Coming and staying show thee, but rising makes me doubt that now. Thou art not thou, that love is weak where phrase as strong as he. 'Tis not all spirit pure and brave, if mixture it of fair, shame, honor have, perchance as torches which must ready be, men light and put out, so thou dealst with me, thou comest to kindle, goest to come, then I will dream that hope again, but else would die. Let's speak about the dream poet in general. The dream poet by John Donne. The poem The Dream is an admirable lyric that illustrates several qualities of Donne's poetry. It has been praised highly by a number of critics. This is a very abstract and intellectual poem, and yet the effect of it is anything but abstract. It's an absolutely consecutive and continuous piece of argument from the very first line to the last of dream, and it's very similar, whether phenomenal such as lightning, tabor torches, or intellectual such as angels, simple and compound substances. It's almost inseparable from the thought it illustrates and expresses. The pictorial element, if present at all, is at a minimum. What is described isn't a sight, but such thoughts and feelings as the sight might be supposed to have suggested. The diction is precise and almost scientific, and the words are completely uncharged with associations not strictly relevant. There is as much drama, imagination, feeling, sensation, experience as of intellect and logic, and this sensational or experimental element is conveyed not by a choice of words rich in association, but by speech, rhythm, inflection, cadence. Every line, in fact, is intensely alive. On the whole, this is one of the best love poems by Donne. Let's start and explain the first stanza. The first stanza: Dear love, for nothing less than thee would I have broke this happy dream. It was a theme for reason much too strong for fantasy. Therefore thou wokest me wisely, yet my dream thou brokest not, the continued it. Thou art so true that thoughts of thee suffice to make dreams truths and fables histories. Enter these arms, for since thou thought's it best not to dream all my dream, let's act the rest. The poem The Dream by John Donne begins in an easy conversational style. Addressing his beloved, the poet says that he had been dreaming a dream which moved him so strongly that it couldn't have been merely imaginary and fanciful. As a matter of fact, It had its basis in truth and reality. It had its basis in truth and reality, for he was dreaming of her and of the pleasure of making love to her. When she arrived and interrupted his dream, it was wise for her to do so, for by her arrival his fantasy has been corrected and made more reasonable. No doubt his arrival has interrupted his dream, but in a way it will continue, for now the pleasures he dreamed have been converted into reality. Her arrival is giving him the same pleasure as he was enjoying in his dream. One reads of such beauty only in fables, that's imaginary stories, but she, a real living breathing woman, has made such fabulous accounts of female beauty look real and truthful, like facts of history. She is the very embodiment of all that the poets have imagined, feminine charms and perfections. The poet exhorts her to come to him and let him impress her so that he may enjoy in reality the pleasure which he was about to enjoy in his dream when it was interrupted by her arrival. Don's use of hyperbole is to be noted here. Let's move to the second stanza. Stanza 2. As lightning or a taper's light, thine eyes and not thy noise woke me, yet I thought thee, for thou lovest truth, an angel at first sight. But when I saw, thou sawest my heart, and knowest my thoughts beyond an angel's art. When thou knowest what I dreamt, when thou knowest when excess of joy would woke me, and comes then, I must confess it couldn't choose but be profane to think thee anything but thee. Continuing in the same hyperbolic vein in the dream, the poet compares the brightness of her eyes to the light of candle, or to lightning. It wasn't the sound made by her arrival, but the bright and dazzling light of her eyes that woke him up. At first he thought that it was an angel that had entered his room, for she too is truthful like an angel, but then the angels can't look into the heart of a person and know his thoughts. Only God's can do so, as she knows his thoughts and feelings, as she can look into his heart and read his thoughts. She's not only angelic but also divine. She's a goddess much superior to angels. That she knows his thoughts and feelings is proved by the fact that she know that he was dreaming of her and came just at the point when the very excess of his joy would have broken his dream. Let Therefore, it would be an impious act to think her to be less than a goddess. She is divine and must be worshipped and adored accordingly. Thus, like a clever lawyer, Don has given arguments after arguments to establish the point that his beloved is a goddess in human form. Let's move to the last stanza 3. Coming and staying show thee, but rising makes me doubt that now thou art not thou, that love is weak, warfares as strong as he. 'Tis not all spirit pure and brave, if mixture it of fair shame honor have, perchance as torches which must ready be. Men light and put out, so thou dealst with me. Thou comest to kindle ghosts to come, then I will dream that hope again, but else would die. In this last and third stanza of the dream, the poet is rather critical of his divine beloved. Her coming to his bedroom and staying there for some time showed that she was really a divine being, not at all concerned with the opinion of the world, but her rising and getting ready to go away shows that she's false to her own divine nature. It shows that her love isn't so strong as he had supposed it to be. It's mixed up with such worldly considerations as shame and fear of disgrace and loss of reputation. Such feelings are unworthy of a goddess like her. But it's possible that she is leaving him not from a fear of loss of reputation, but from other considerations. In order to explain his point, Don makes use of a conceit. He compares himself to a torch, and his beloved to a person who lights a torch, tests it, and then extinguishes it and keeps it ready for use. Her arrival in his bedroom was intended to arouse his patience, to light the torch of his desires, and to satisfy herself that he was fully capable of satisfying her own sexual desires. Now she is going away, but would soon return to make use of the torch she has lighted. He would continue to dream of her early return. It's this hope alone which could make him live. Without his hope, he's sure to die. Thanks.